All right, now it's time to start working on the inside of the brochure. So rather than do all that work we did at the beginning again and starting from scratch, let's just go ahead and come up here to File, Save As, and let's call this brochure in. This will be the inside of our brochure, so I'll save it right in that same folder as the outside of the brochure. We'll click Save. And now we have two versions of the exact same thing. So since this is brochure inside, I can go ahead and start deleting a lot of this stuff that I don't need anymore, because we're going to be creating the inside of the brochure. Another thing I could do is just, let's see, come all the way down here to shift click between the top layer and then the layer right above where my guides are. Hit Command G to throw those into a group, and then I can turn that off. And so that way I still have those files to reference if I wanted to bring over the text in the new front document, but for right now they're not in our way as we're working. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and bring my layers panel back into Docket with the rest of those windows. And we're ready to dive in and create the inside of our brochure. So there's a lot of ways we could do this, but let's go ahead and look at the text we have to include. So when I pull up my my rentals text, there really isn't that much more we need to drop in here. Everything else has been accounted for except for this chunk of text. So what that tells me is we could probably do a more photo-driven approach on this. So this is the whole inside of the brochure as we've got it opened up. So what I'm going to do is find a couple photos that I think would be a good solution for this. And the one that I already found before we started this was this one where we've got the family on paddleboards and we've got the kid that's kind of looking at you. And the reason why I like this is because it shows that paddleboarding can be a family thing. It's not just, you know, it could be anybody, right? And so what I'm thinking here as I bring this in, I'm just going to scale it up and make it go full width here, and I'm going to center him, since he's the one that's looking directly at you. I'm going to center him to the center of the document right here, and that gives me a lot of space over here on the top right and kind of in the middle panel to bring in those details on the rentals. So with that dropped in, let's go ahead and bring in some text, and what I'm thinking is I'll turn on this group again. I'll drag it to the front, and I'm just going to grab this directions text, and I'll hit Command Shift and the right bracket to throw it all the way in front out of that group. I'll turn that group back off, and there's my directions text. And I'm going to highlight all of this, and I'm going to work with a few different colors on the inside. Now I'm going to click on this question mark, and the reason why it's a question mark is because it's got blue and white, and so it doesn't know what to choose since they're two different colors here. But I'll select that, and I'm just going to sample from his shorts, and the reason why is because it'll help tie these graphics together a lot better, and I'll do that a lot of times. So anytime you're working with a photo, we could sample from right here, or maybe his red shorts, and find something that ties back into this. But I found that this color right in his shorts seemed to be the best fit on that light sky. So let's see, we've got that set up here. Let's go ahead and grab our text. And our title is going to be rentals, so I'll copy that and I'll come back over and drop it in right here where it says directions. And then let's go grab the rest of our text here. Let's just work one at a time. I'm just going to grab this, hit Command C, and then jump back over here and drop it in this paragraph section here, Command V to paste. Alright, so we've got one set of text. Now let's bring back over the rest of it here. All right, and now these hourly rates here could kind of be like a subheading. So we have our main heading here under rentals, and then we also have this subheading. So let's go ahead and stylize this a little bit better here. So I'm thinking we can start by just making it a little bit bolder. Maybe a semi-bold might be enough to make it stand out. I'll triple click in there. Let's try, how about bold? And that's better. So let's see here. I'm going to go ahead and turn this subheading we just made into a paragraph style. So I'll come over here to my paragraph styles, and I'll highlight this text, and I'll add a new paragraph style, and we'll call this H2, or subheading 2. And then I'm going to highlight this down here and apply that as well. And when we have this little plus sign, that means it's picking up some other styles as well. So we're going to hit this little back arrow button to reset it, just to only have the H2 settings. Alright, so that's looking pretty good. And let's go ahead and let's see. Let's split this up a little bit so it looks a little better. Alright, so that's looking a lot better here. The next thing we want to do is make sure we have all of our text, and we have one more chunk of text that didn't come over. Let's grab this here. And we'll drop it in at the bottom of this. Now I could have just copied and pasted all of this at one time, but sometimes it's overwhelming to work with all the text at once when you're not sure exactly how it's going to lay out and if it's going to look good. And in this case, the waves and the darkness of this color right here is kind of interfering with my text. So I need to spend some time here refining that. So I'm going to go ahead and push pause, refine this a little bit, and then in the next lesson we're going to jump in and show you how to export this file.